This is the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar. The time is 4:37 p.m. in Jerusalem time, and it might be very close to sunset, but these days it's getting a little longer, so it might be still before. I didn't mention this in the last video, but since the Tekus and the PL-89s are connected, today's Yom Hamishi is the fifth day of the week, the 5th of Tevis. In my calendar studies, in my calendar system, when Rosh Chodesh, meaning Aleph, not if it's 2 days, if it's Aleph, happens on a Sunday, I call that a perfect month, because it goes 1 through 7, and every day of the week the first week is exactly that letter. Like Rosh Chodesh is Aleph and it was Yom Aleph, right? And so today is Yom He, 5th day of the week, and it's Yom Hamishi, it's Thursday. And it's He B'Tevis, it's the 5th of Tevis. So I call that a perfect month because the whole month, the letters, the numbers will match to the days of the week, etc. And so today, if it's before sunset, I like to call the day, the Hebrew day, in my notation system, even in some aspects of halacha, maybe after Shkia, it's still considered, meaning after sunset, it's still considered that day. But for me, once sunset hits, the minute sunset hits, there's a minute on the clock, officially. Say sunset is 4:43 or whatever it is, 4:41. I don't know what time it is these days, but I might have made it a few minutes before, so it's still Yom Hamishi. For me, the moment that minute passes, for this calendar system, it's no longer that day. I'm like extra machmir with it. So, Yom Hamishi was the day that I started the Teku recordings. Tekus are the unresolved and unanswered questions in the Talmud that the tradition is that we will not get the answer until the Messiah comes. And I started that, it was a Thursday, and the Thursday was June 19th of 2025. That was a Thursday, and that was the very first Teku. And then 189 days, or 189 Tekus later, we land ourselves on the 25th day of December. And it's the 189th Teku. And 189 is the gematria of Merry Christmas. It's just interesting. Very interesting. And not only that, but forwards and backwards. If you go A through Z and then Z through A, either way you do it, it's going to be 189. So, the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar is really, it's about Esav and Yaakov meeting together. And what better time could it be than in this season when you have Hanukkah and Christmas around the same time, and last year was even more central, more meaning, because the first night of Hanukkah was 25th of December. That's even more focused, more together. But anyway, this is a lunar and solar calendar, and you think about the sun and the moon. You can think about Jacob and Esau, and there's different ways of saying that the Jewish constituent, the Jewish energy, the Jewish idea is the sun, and Esau is the moon. But actually, I think it's more prominent to the opposite on many levels. There's reasons for both, but the main reason is that Esav is the sun, is that the solar calendar, which we use, the Gregorian calendar, before that the Julian calendar, is based on the sun and not the moon. The Jewish calendar is primarily based on the moon, although there are some aspects that it's also based on the sun. But this is a calendar that sees them together in one calendar. Okay, one calendar, two different calendar systems are fused together, synthesized into one calendar. Okay? And what's really interesting is that the amount of time here is a biblically mandated, biblically prescribed, biblically delineated, described, biblically, said time period, which is a time period of 3 months. And there are a few places in Tanakh that mention that specific time period. What you're looking at here is 80 boxes. It's 8 columns, 10 rows. That's 80. Then, under here, it's an invisible, it's imaginary, but still very real in terms of the calendar. It's called T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. It's called a 10-day twilight period. Each day is understood, labeled as such, T1, T2, T3. The 10-day twilight period is the 10 days after, at the end of every 3-month period, there's 80 days, and then 10 days make that last period, that last, 3 months. What is 3 months and where is it? And I've explained a few things of it in different places of the Bible about the 3 months, but today I think it's very important to mention the most recent place that I learned about 3 months. And it may not be where you expect, or you might know it already, but it's in the book of Samuel, chapter 6. I believe it is 2 Samuel, second book of Samuel. And David's already king now, so it must be 2 Samuel, right? So David's king, and there was some event that they needed to move the ark with the law, the ark, the covenant. They needed to move it from one place to another. I don't remember the exact place, but it was in Jerusalem. They needed to move. Maybe it was in Jerusalem, maybe it was in the city of David, or they moved it from somewhere else to the city of David. I don't remember exactly, but there's also a parallel to that chapter in 1 Chronicles chapter 13. I think it's 1 Chronicles 13. It might be first or second. I don't remember exactly, but it's in Chronicles. I think it's first 13. Yeah. So they're moving this ark, and everything's going fine, and then one of the Levite, I think it's a Levite, who was in charge of carrying the ark, he put his hand forth. It says that since it was the wagon was wobbly, the oxen or the horses were pulling it. It looked like, so he put his hand, Uzzah, and he touched the ark, or he touched the poles or something of the ark, and he got zapped. Basically, he died. It was just some kind of. I think the commentaries must. I didn't see it, but they must talk about why such a harsh reaction, punishment for just something he was really just trying to. It seemed like he was trying to just support it, that it wouldn't fall. So he got zapped. Basically, he died, and so David was very upset. It says that he was upset, and he named the place Peretz Uzzah because Uzzah was. Peretz is like a breach. I'm not sure how that relates, but anyway, Uzzah died there, and then he took the ark and he was very fearful because someone with such immense power and holiness, someone could die from just touching it. Then, it's a scary thing. So he moved it to someone's house, a Levite, by the name of Oved Edom, and it stayed in his house for 3 months. It says Shalosh Chodashim. And that is this time period. So the ark stayed in his house for this time period. And I think about the significance of me learning this recently. I remember this story from a while back, but as I meditated upon the name of Oved Edom, what does that mean? Serving Edom? A Levite's Jewish person is serving Edom. Is he serving red? Is he serving? What was he serving? And why is he called Oved Edom? Well, I mean, just a simple translation of Hebrew is, I mean, you can translate in a lot of ways, but you'll basically come up with, there's not so many choices you can have. Oved means to serve or to work or to, right, yeah, those two, serve or to work for. Edom is the progeny or the code name for Esav. It says that when Esav ate the red stew that Jacob made, he was called Edom. He was called give me this red food, and he's red, and they called him Edom. And when he was born, he was red, and Edom is a code name for the descendants of Esav. And today I got a special hint or sort of a sign that this should be mentioned today, because what is more Edom than Christmas and Christianity? And so I thought about it, and I saw a video by Rabbi Mendel Kessin, and he said the Or Hagan this is what it's titled. It might still be up, it might not be up, but when last, within the past hour, it should be still up. It's called the Or Haganuz of Esav. I'll say it again. You heard it right. The Or Haganuz of Esav. And Rabbi Mendel Kessin was saying that he recorded it before, but as Providence had it, as Hashem had it, I mean, Providence is Hashem, right? So as it turned out, it was published on Christmas Eve, his shir about the Or Haganuz of Esav. And I thought, the timing couldn't be better, that he's mentioning this today, and I'm watching this video about the Or Haganuz, means the hidden light of Esau. And then I remembered something that Rabbi Yitzchak Ginsburg had said some 7 years ago. 5778 was like 7 years ago, or 8 years ago. 7.5 years. No, it was exactly 7 years ago, because it was 5778, and it must have been 2019. 2019, no. It's interesting, it's a little confusing, because the video said 5778, so that would be, okay, I guess it was 8 years ago then, because 5778 would be 2017. So that was because in the fall, from September up until December, it's still the previous year of the Gregorian. So he was talking about Esav, making a reconciliation with Esav and somebody else. He mentioned a student, Ariel Conaloro, was doing a reconciliation. And so anyway, so I thought about that, and I thought about how interesting is that Rabbi Mendel Kessin is talking about the Or Haganuz of Esav, and he mentioned, the Rabbi Mendel Kessin said that it was amazing Hashgacha Pratis that it came out on Christmas Eve. You can hear it yourself. Okay? So then, bringing it back to this calendar, you think about the amount of time that the ark stayed in the house of Obed Edom. Obed Edom means serving Edom, or in service of red, or how could it be translated? But here's what came to me in light of all this. Oved Edom, the work, Oved Avodah, that I'm doing in this PL-89 calendar comes from Edom. It comes from Esav in the sense that it's mathematical. If you know about Jewish, if you're familiar with Jewish teachings and shiurs, people aren't talking mathematics. They're not doing that. They're talking about, they're learning the Torah. You read the Mefarshim, you read the Rashi, you read this, that. You bring from the sources, and you're just talking about, the material. You're not going into, by and large, so much numbers and mathematics and calculating and counting but Esav, think about a German engineer. Okay, a German engineer, they say they're the best in the world. I mean, they design things like amazing. That's what they say, but or just the European mind, you're talking about logic, mathematics, but I'm focused specifically on mathematics. And so if you go on YouTube, you're not going to hear a lot of shiurs or stuff, or any speech that a rabbi gives. He's not going to talk about theorems or calculations and that's not. But that's what this is. This is using calculations and counting within Torah to bring the Messiah closer. So I thought the timing was amazing, that I learned about Oved Edom, that the ark stayed in the house of Oved Edom. Means the ark is like the Torah, right? The law. And the law, meaning this is for the Torah. This is not for anything secular. It's not meant to make money, even though if people would hear me explain it, sometimes I'll say it's meant for business and all that. That's just one layer. You can use it for all kinds of stuff. I happen to use it in my business work. You can use it for anything. But the fact of the matter is, it's really for Torah. It's really for Torah itself. And so it's interesting that the Ark of the Law stayed for 3 months. This is 3 months in the house of Oved Edom. The work it's the work of Edom. It's not the work of Yaakov. Yaakov, I'm going to use some of my teacher, Arno Conaloro. He made a very interesting idea that Jacob, when he went to sleep on the rock, there were 12 stones, and it all became one stone. And it's a good symbol for Judaism today. It's you don't have to go so many numbers. It's all one thing. It's 12. It's all one thing. But the fact of the matter is that and on the other hand, you can see that Esav is like a real Kabbalist. Esav is going deep. He's analyzing the name. When Jacob came and he stole the blessing, he goes, I see your name is Jacob because Yaakov Yehil, but Ikveni, that you deceived me, because Akav can mean heel, but Yakveni means you came in a crooked way, in a twisted, subtle, underhanded way. Yakveni, he deceived me these 2 times. So Esav himself is kind of like a deep guy. He's kind of he's going to the, analyzing names and stuff like that. And on the other hand, you see a thing where Yaakov has 12, and all 12, it doesn't matter if it's 12 or 2 or 9, it's just all one stone. Numbers don't really matter that much. It's just more the idea of it. And if you look at that, you might see some truth in that, even if it's just a little bit. Say, obviously, you have great mathematicians who are Jewish people, and you have you have Esav people who are, totally not into anything. But I'm saying you can see these points. You can see them. Okay? So basically, Oved Edom is Oved is Avodah, the work, and Edom is Esav. It's the good part of Esav. It's the head of Esav that gets cut off, right? And rolls into the Mars Machpelah. It's holy. Esav's head is holy, right? It's holy. And his mind, his mathematics, he's an engineer. He makes the best, whatever stuff, physical, I think you got the point. But Where are we? December 25th, 99999999999. Okay, December 25th is on box number 27. Okay, 27 is, the coordinates are G7, okay? And, let's see here. And Tavis 5 is over on number 32. Anytime you hit box 32, which is A9, 32 is going to be Hey 5. So now it's Tavis, but January 5th, God willing, will be here. And April 5th, right? July 5th, any cardinal month, it's going to be right here. So I think that's, yeah. Did I cover all of it? Yeah, that's it. That's the PL-89 for today.